I think the hot topic for everybody on this tour has been that the actual standard of rugby hasn't been great. There's been so much kicking. Both teams are letting their defence try and win the games for them. Whatever team makes more mistakes under the high ball with their poor positioning when it comes to kicking, and their kick chase isn't good enough. And instead of talking about fantastic individual brilliance in attack, we seem to be talking about individual mistakes in defence. And I think a lot of people like to watch New Zealand play. The Bledisloe Cup. The Rugby World Cup was a brilliant tournament to showcase how good rugby can be. And unfortunately, this tour has really been flattered to deceive, really, hasn't it? It hasn't been great at all. And we're all hoping that it's going to be a thriller on Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m. in Cape Town. But I don't believe that it is going to be. I think it's going to be more of the same, more kicking. South Africa, they're not going to change away from their game plan. Their plan A. If it doesn't work, they just do their plan A even better. And that's the way that they're going to operate. So I think this weekend the Lions are the ones that are going to have to take control of this game, try and play a bit more rugby, more multi-phase, get those small line breaks. They've made 6 changes to their starting 15, so hopefully that those fresh legs, fresh ideas, can hopefully get the Lions over the winning line. It's been very frustrating for me as a pundit or a commentator or working in the media the last number of weeks, and it's been more about the coaches and more about the sideshows and the drama off the pitch instead of about the players. It should be about the players and about the guys representing the British and Irish Lions, the pinnacle of their careers. So South Africans, it's only once every 12 years it comes round, and we're not talking about the players. And I know the rugby hasn't been great for us to say, Cheslin Colby's, recaptured the form from the 2019 World Cup. He hasn't. But at the same time, I just feel like we're talking about referees, we're just talking about Warren Gatland, we're talking about Rassie Erasmus, and it's sort of taken away a little bit for me from the players. But maybe that's exactly what the coaches want. Maybe they want to take as much pressure off the team as possible. The water boy Rassie Erasmus coming onto the pitch, feeding information. It's just tit for tat between the two camps, and it's, as you rightly say, it's all a bit of a sideshow. But for me, as a fan of the sport, I think it subtracts a little bit from the two teams actually who are taking the pitch. There needed to be change. There had to be change, and I'm glad that he's put Bundyaki back in at 12. Josh Adams, who I thought early deserved his chance before the first test, now has had to wait to the third test, but he's back in place of Anthony Watson. I thought Duhan van der Merwe is very lucky to keep his place because the back three were all over the place. Liam Williams coming back into 15. Stuart Hogg hasn't been his brilliant self, has he, in this tour? So really disappointing for him. But the changes, Wyn Jones at loosehead prop, they have to shore up the scrum. They have to stop the driving maul of the South Africans. They completely got dominated in the second half. We talk about physicality with South Africa, but you got to get your basics right. Your maul defence has to be solid. You have to sack. You have to get up and compete. You have to make it a nightmare for the opposition to win their ball, and the Lions didn't do that. And they racked up penalty after penalty. The referee was siding with them more so in the second half. And I'm really happy that Warren Gatland has made a few changes. I think, you know what, he could have made another 4 or 5 changes and nobody would have raised an eyebrow. I think last week's second half performance was so poor that it raised so many question marks. So fair play to Gatland. And from an Irish perspective, I think it's really disappointing to see somebody like, especially from Ulster, Ian Henderson not making the cut, not getting into a match day 23 for the second tour running. A bit like Rory Best as well in 2013, 2017. Didn't make the test side, so really disappointing for him. And I'm sure it's tough on all the rest of the lads, and Jamie George, Xander Fagerson, Josh Navidi, just to name a few. It'd be really tough going considering they're locked up in their COVID bubble. But they've got to get behind the team. Everybody's got to buy into this. And if they get a test series win, it'll go down in history as one of the best. So I'm happy with the team that's going out there. I might have made a one or two more changes. But Warren Gatland's the head coach of the Lions for a reason. He's been there, he's done it, he's got the t-shirt, so let's all get behind him. Well, the bookies in the first test said that South Africa were the favourites for the game. South Africa lost. Second game, the second test match, the bookies said that the Lions were favourites. They lost by 18 points. So again, South Africa are now favourites for the third test. So does that mean that the British and Irish Lions are going to win? Possibly. I would love to say that the British and Irish Lions are going to win. I would love to. And I think it's going to be a hell of a lot tighter than what everybody thinks. It really is. The loss of Faf de Klerk, the loss of Peter Steph de Toy. I know Mostard is now in the back row and he's wearing the number 7 jersey, but these are guys that have been there, and they're top quality players that really perform well under pressure. And the two guys that have been brought in, good players, but are they as good as the guys that are injured? Definitely not. So it's going to be tight. I'm going to go for South Africa to nick it. Rassie Erasmus to be hailed a hero across South Africa, and the Rugby World Cup champions to keep marching on.